Coming up on Mountain News this morning, yesterday marked 5 years since the January 6th attack on the Capitol. We'll hear from an officer who was there that day. And one senator is working to pass a law to make nearly all mobile device use illegal while driving in Kentucky.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Caroline Mueller, and today's date is Wednesday, January 7th. The time is now 6 a.m., so let's hand it over to meteorologist Megan Desmel for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, not too bad at all out there like we've been saying all morning. Doesn't quite feel like January, does it?
No, it doesn't. I mean, these are beautiful temperatures outside. Didn't even really need a jacket as I made my way to my car, and you probably won't either, as we're talking a lot of folks in the 50s. I mean, here's a look at just what you can expect. 58 right now in Manchester, 55 in Williamsburg, 50 in London, Stanton, Moorhead, 52 in Somerset. So overall, pretty pleasant temperatures, and we'll still see temperatures dropping for the next hour or so, but by the time that sun rises, we'll start to see that warming trend, and then we'll head into the 60s for the afternoon high temperatures. Our southern counties even have a chance of warming into the mid-60s. 66 is that forecast high for Middlesboro, Jacksboro, Williamsburg, and Manchester. A little bit chillier for our more northern counties. 55 is that high for Moorhead. And we do have some fog rolling through for our far southern and western counties, but for the most part, it's still a rather clear start to the day. Caroline.
Thanks, Megan. Days after the dramatic capture of former Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife, some lawmakers have expressed concerns over what comes next for Venezuela. In a social media post, President Trump said Venezuela will be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of sanctioned oil to the U.S. to be sold at its market price. Meanwhile, the White House is also renewing its push to control Greenland. The administration said Greenland is a national security priority, with officials discussing a range of options for acquiring the territory, including utilizing the U.S. military.
Got a lot of oil to drill, which is going to bring down oil prices even further.
The potential of that oil reserve for Venezuela and the American people is unlimited.
Today, Trump administration officials are expected to return to Capitol Hill to brief more lawmakers on the Venezuela operation. Yesterday marked 5 years since the attack on the U.S. Capitol. On January 6, 2021, thousands of supporters of President Trump swarmed the building, attacking police officers, causing millions of dollars in damage and even reaching the Senate floor. Their intentions to help President Trump remain in power ultimately failed, but 5 years later, some of those involved say the lessons learned from that day can't be forgotten. Metropolitan Police Officer Daniel Hodges is one of more than 140 officers that were injured, maimed, gassed, and beaten by people trying to stop Congress from certifying the 2020 election.
There's no way anyone can possibly deny what occurred here, but that's exactly what's happening.
President Trump pardoned or commuted the sentences of more than 1,500 rioters. Yesterday, some of them recreated their march to the Capitol. Several years ago, Congress voted to hang a plaque commemorating the officers and law enforcement who responded to the attack. Republicans have blocked its installment for 2 years. Convenience is important for many of us, and that's something the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet had in mind when launching the state's official mobile ID app, offering a digital version of your ID or driver's license. Alyssa Williams spoke with KYTC leaders and police to learn how you can use it and how you can't.
In recent years, Apple Pay and other payment apps have become widely popular, leaving some wondering, why can't we have that same concept for other cards, like our IDs or licenses? Well, thanks to the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, now you can.
It's convenient because everything else is on your phone. A lot of people use their phones to pay at the grocery store, at the gas station with the tap. So it's the same idea of it's contactless identity verification that's convenient because it's right there in the palm of your hand.
KYTC KYTC is now offering Kentucky Mobile ID, the state's official app that stores your standard or real ID driver's license and ID. KYTC's Public Affairs Director, Naiture Jibanu, says the digital ID can be a game changer for flying specifically.
So very similar to the way a lot of people prefer these days having a digital boarding pass instead of printing off a physical one, just to make it easy to pass through airport security checkpoints.
Now, the biggest thing to keep in mind when it comes to digital ID is that it does not replace your physical ID card. So there are still certain situations you may find yourself in where you go to give them that digital ID and they're not going to take it. You have to have that physical ID present. Richmond Police Chief Rodney Richardson says if you're driving a vehicle, you're required by law to have your physical driver's license with you.
So you got situations where you might be pulled over. You got situations where you might have been involved in a collision, and those are times that you have to have your physical ID present.
Kentucky Mobile ID is free to download through the App Store or Google Play. Alyssa Williams, WKYT.
A reminder that a real ID is required to fly or visit military bases. There are a few Kentucky airports that aren't accepting the digital versions yet, so double check the location you're flying out of ahead of time. Kentucky lawmakers returned to Frankfort to gavel in the 2026 legislative session yesterday. And this year, Senator Jimmy Higdon is hoping to pass a law to make nearly all mobile device use illegal while driving. It's called the Phones Down Bill. It would expand on Kentucky's existing texting ban. You would only be allowed to use your phone for GPS, emergencies, and calling law enforcement while driving. Senator Higdon is entering his last legislative session after more than 2 decades in public office. He says this legislation has been around for years, but he hopes to get it across the finish line this year.
99% of Kentuckians are law-abiding citizens, and if the law says don't talk on your cell phone, I believe that the majority of Kentuckians will follow that.
We reached out to Senate Democrats about the bill. They said they have yet to review it, but will be better positioned to provide more perspective once the bill makes it to committee. Another topic on lawmakers' minds will be artificial intelligence. Many Kentuckians have voiced their concerns over the development of data centers. Last year, rezoning efforts to build data centers in Oldham and Meade counties failed. Republican Senator Jay Williams says it's a tough sell, but he views data centers as a chance to create jobs.
Kentucky is one of maybe 2 or 3 of the designated sites within the United States by the federal government, by President Trump, as an AI center of excellence.
There are already dozens of data centers in Kentucky. Williams says proposals related to AI won't be going away, but neither are the concerns people have. Campaigns are well underway for a highly anticipated race this election season as candidates vie for Senator Mitch McConnell's seat. Among those hoping to take over his spot in D.C. is familiar Democratic face Amy McGrath. She officially filed to run for the seat yesterday in Frankfort. She ran for McConnell's seat in 2020 and lost. However, she says now her experience and honesty sets her apart from other candidates.
I'm doing this again because I love Kentucky and because I love our country. And I think we need better leaders.
McGrath says if elected, she will work to reverse policies passed in President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act, including tariffs and health care subsidies. Several other Democrats and Republicans are also running.
And we're continuing to see a little bit of clouds as we start off the day, but overall we're going to see some dramatic improvement as mostly sunny skies take over heading into the midday hours, which will make these temperatures just feel even more out of place for this time of year. I mean, we're talking 50s this morning, which is about 30 degrees warmer for some folks than we should be for this time of year. And as we head in the afternoon, we'll just continue to see that warmth as high temperatures make it into the mid 60s. I mean, 66 in Manchester, Williamsburg, 64 is that forecast high in Monticello. A little bit chillier for our northern counties, but still very warm for the first full week of January. 55 is that forecast high in Moorhead, 59 for Louisa and Prestonsburg. And we'll continue to see those temperatures cooling down just a little bit over the course of the next hour or two, but then we'll warm up once that sun does rise and then hit those highs around that 4 o'clock time frame with plenty of sunshine by the afternoon. Caroline.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Still to come, meet the first licensed armless pilot who's helping a team build the first plane designed to be flown without hands.